Jerry Seinfeld, a Syrian Jew, is going to tell us a little bit about his thoughts on Israel. I'm Tyler Traveling Clat, your favorite Zionist prince, white colonizer. Let's get right into it.
You made Seinfeld during a period that I think will be remembered as like the golden age of American Jewish life. And
because anti-Semitism was a relic, seemingly a relic.
Yeah.
History of history books.
I think people felt like history had ended and the American Jewish experience was fundamentally singular and different from any other diaspora experience.
Right, of course.
And, well, I wonder, A, if you thought about the Jewishness of the show.
Never.
Okay. And do you think about it differently now? Now that that period's over?
Yeah, well,
or ended.
When I first time I went to Israel after I had finished the show, and I saw the way they reacted to me, and I realized this is not just normal interaction of celebrity-public interface. This is different.
How?
I meant something, which I never knew. And it gave me a wonderful feeling like, oh, I didn't realize what I was doing had another value that I didn't know about. And I, of course, loved it.
You have always seemed just apolitical, I guess is the word, like above the fray.
Okay.
And, you know, that everything feels politicized right now.
Yeah.
And so you yourself have become politicized in a way.
Little bit, yeah.
Do you feel that?
I do.
You comfortable with it?
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. In fact, when we get protesters occasionally, I love to say to the audience, you know, I love that these young people, they're trying to get engaged with politics. We have to just correct their aim a little bit. You know, they don't seem to understand that as comedians, we really don't control anything.
Right,
you know?
right.
No one's really...
no, you're pulling the strings over the war in Gaza,
yeah.
Right? That's how I think of you.
Yeah, yeah.
You've done a bunch of shows, obviously. You're constantly doing shows. You did one in Syracuse in December that attracted protesters, and then they were chanting that you're complicit in genocide. Then when I gave this talk in February at the Y, there was this footage of you where they were calling you a genocide supporter and Nazi scum. And the thing that jumped out at me was not the things they were saying, of course, because they say it to anyone.
Yeah.
It's that you were smiling and waving and genuinely seemed to be enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Why?
It's so silly. It's like, you know, they wanna express this, you know, sincere, intense rage, but again, a little off target.
Right, right.
Little off target. So that's, to me, comedic. You know.
You were in Israel.
Yes.
Since the war started. How was that trip?
The most powerful experience of my life.
Really?
I'm sure, yeah.
Why?
You know, you just...
Are you thinking of someone in particular?
Sorry.
One thing that I've been thinking about is how a huge part of the way you think about comedy is how the audience never lies.
Right.
But what happens if a lot of people are wrong? In other words, I don't think Jews do well in an age of mobs. And I feel that right now in our culture, it's really easy to form mobs.
Yes, really easy.
And what's the difference between the audience never lying, but when does the audience kind of tip into the mob? Do you see where I'm going with that?
I do.
There's something...
Yeah.
But I really have been wanting to ask you about, like, for someone that relies on the truth-telling of the audience to tell you whether or not something is funny, what does that same principle apply to a mass of people. You see what I mean?
Well, you can't act like we don't see this every day in many realms. Let's just talk politically, left and right. You're watching mobs. They're mobs. They're mobs believing their own crap, right?
Yeah.
That's what a political party is. We're going to make up a bunch of nonsense and we'll all agree to it, right? Right. Okay, let's print up some bumper stickers and get out there, kids. That's politics. So we're tribal animals. We're social creatures. We look for agreement and consensus. We're driven by agreement and consensus, and mob rule gives us comfort, gives us certainty.
Yeah.
It's all BS.
You got to feel for Jerry Seinfeld here from a certain perspective, because his family probably left Syria due to persecution of Jewish people. And he makes it to America, and he develops a very successful career. And what she said, it was a very deeply un-Semitic time in America. Well, there were always little bouts of anti-Semitism. Right now, we're dealing with full-on... it can't get any more felt, the current anti-Semitism. And it's all justified, whether you're an American Jew who's had zero connection to Israel, or you're the most Zionist Jew and possible. Like, every single Jew feels the anti-Semitism, the Jew hatred right now. And we don't get a pass. Like, nobody's thinking about our feelings. And fuck them. I don't care. I'm not asking for anybody to care for my feelings. But no, I'm looking out for my fellow Jew the same way that my fellow Jew's looking out for me. I don't need you as a non-Jew or somebody who doesn't understand what we're going through to start feeling bad for me. But nobody actually knows what we're actually going through behind the scenes. It's a very, very deeply traumatic experience. I get Jews reaching out to me from all over the world, from every corner of the globe, every day asking me what to do. Just imagine that on my shoulders. And I'm also just trying to figure it out. But you have to imagine from his perspective for him to be like a non-political person, a comedian, and this all of a sudden just props up on him in 2023 till now. You could see how much it hurt him. And when he came to Israel and he saw the truth himself, you could see how much it hurts him. We're all, from a certain perspective, mourning the loss of our previous lives and sort of starting to accept what's coming for us. And I don't think it's going to get better, at least not before it gets worse. I saw the signs on October 7th, and I meditated on them for a couple months, and then I made a decision with my life, and I decided to speak up. I could have been quiet, but it would have eaten me up inside. I know the kind of person I am. I only recently, just like a couple days ago, made a video saying goodbye to my other YouTube channel, which was about my life in the Philippines. And I sort of just said goodbye formally to my audience there, saying this is over, you know. I'm not going back to being a travel vlogger, at least not in the way that I was before. So I think that the global Jewish community, we're all sort of mourning the loss of what our lives were before this, where we could have normal friendships and relationships. For example, I had to sort of unfollow a good friend of mine really recently who was putting up a bunch of bullshit posts, anti-Israel posts, when Iran was attacking us, when the Islamic regime of Iran. And it was almost like pseudo in support of the regime. Somebody who I love dearly and is a very close friend and clearly has no fucking idea about the conflict nor the region. And it's just, we're all sort of mourning what once was. It hurts. It really hurts, man. We don't process the emotions enough. I could cry just talking about it. Life was really beautiful for a long time. And now, not that it's not beautiful now, it's just, it hurts. It hurts a lot to be able to feel like you can't connect with everybody, to feel like there's a limitation on you, who you can be friends with and where you're accepted. It hurts. I'm not going to lie to you. It hurts. And I could see it in Jerry Seinfeld's eyes in that clip. You could see he knows. We can all sort of feel it, you know. It hurts. But thus is the life of a Jew. And our ancestors went through this. My grandparents went through this. My great-grandparents went through this. And I'll go through this. And my kids will probably go through this at a certain point. I hope not, but they probably will. And that is what it is. It's the greatest blessing in the world, though, to be connected to this land and connected to these people. Connected to the allies of ours, too, that love us and stand with us no matter what. So it's a blessing no matter what. I'll see you guys next one. I love you long time. Goodbye, class. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.